Currently 4:21 p.m. This is capturing the demonic, which is the prosecution of the state of California for federal group stalking and monitoring, as it's engaging in psychological torture. These are warfare tactics in order to systematically break down an American citizen whom the state has conspired to murder and or kidnap in concert with the people of the state. This is the perfect alignment of the light source, as I refer to it as the fake sun, while I am aiming the camera on a picture on the living room wall inside of the living room at Woodside Senior Apartments. And this is a scientific phenomenon because I'm inside of the living room and all of the blinds are closed. This is also where the crackling of the ceiling and the walls by someone that sounds as though they're Hercules, this masculine senior citizen that does not sleep in apartment number 55, who's going to a mental asylum for engaging in ceaseless psychological torture in concert with the government while she's engaged in what is gang stalking, domestic terrorism, and does so with impunity while she is also engaged in federal stalking, monitoring my physical movements, monitoring my communication devices, monitoring my internet activity in violation of existing federal law. And this is the environment where demons practice psychological torture while in violation of federal law. This is the perfectly aimed light source, the sun, as though the sun through closed blinds would create any sort of light activity, perfectly aimed through the top of the blinds. But as you'll also know, you'll be mindful of, this is a means of reflecting off of the picture onto the wall. And I'll show you that while my hand pierces through it and it disappears. Let's show you my hand because engineered light is ricocheting off of the picture. Okay, that's entirely demonic, and it's also synonymous with what is impossible. This is the same impossible light activity you saw in the dark while I was documenting the domestic terrorist in apartment number 55, who engages in what is amplified stomping while the demon monitors my movements, monitors me in my sleep state, and she does so as a third party in concert with the people. That's a population that's doing what this demon in apartment 55 is doing. And this is the environment where you saw what is, again, the rapidly disappearing light that is a supernatural occurrence in the first place. It's not the sun. The sun that is in West Covina while I'm remaining at Lark Ellen Avenue, at 2100 Lark Ellen Avenue in West Covina, is not perfectly aimed with Tracy Banks's living room, piercing through her closed blinds, creating concentrated light onto the top of her living room window and ricocheting onto her door, where you are analyzing the threat of the demon possessed who are gang stalking with the intent to psychologically torture, the communication of a threat by a hostile demon who knows that I am documenting her on a communication device while she is gang stalking where she lives. Okay, this light activity rapidly occurs after I take these series of images of what is the fake sun. Just moments ago, it's 4:08 p.m. here, where the fake sun is in perfect alignment with the window, the same window where it is outside of the same living room in 9 o'clock in the morning, as I capture this demon who is going to a mental asylum, maliciously targeting, psychologically torturing in concert with the state of California. This is state action that I'm documenting. It's not private activity. This is the state's conduct, and it is psychological torture as well of one's blood relative, acting in furtherance of the criminal conspiracy to murder and kidnap someone. And you're seeing that in the specific environment where this defies nature, and so does the environment where you're walking, like the demon in 55, does not create crackling, earthquake-like booming noises. It's not something that's going to inherently disrupt quiet enjoyment, which every senior citizen, by the way, over 55, is not doing so with regard to never taking a nap, never leaving the living room, and neither does the sun. It never leaves me in this living room. It remains in perfect alignment. This is where that state surveillance is underway, and this is where the Ontario police, as you saw in video, gang stalking, as they are aware that I am documenting the demons who are engaging in the criminal bidding of the state. All right, where the people of the state are crossing path outside, and their shadows move across this patio door inside, while this demon inside is pacing in and out, monitoring. Okay, while the demon above in apartment number 55 acts with impunity and is continuously engaged in that very pattern of conduct. This is the demon, again, license plate 5WUV715/5WUB715. This is her license plate. She's already on video under the fake sun in this parking lot at Woodside Senior Apartments at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, where sunlight is never going to ricochet off of your vehicle while you're driving under it, and it's moving across the brick wall. That is the hallmark of gang stalking by demons. This demon is living occurring at the facilitating venue where she's engaged in 24-hour surveillance, where documentation of impossible light activity. This is relevant to psychological torture, terrorism, harassment, and molestation, all the ways that impossible light is used as a means of psychological torture and harassment and terrorizing an American citizen, while I'm putting my hand in impossible light activity at 4:17 p.m. and I'm showing you how it's ricocheting off of the picture where it's rapidly disappearing off of it. This is at 4:17 p.m. and I'm documenting again second by second a demon crossing path who is not exercising. This is not aerobics. This is malicious engagement in the pattern of conduct that demon is monitoring while her shadow moves across this patio door where the fake sun remains in alignment with the same living room, where I'm showing you engineer light piercing through the peephole. Again, this is at 4:18. This is, in other words, by the way, the evidence showing the criminal pattern of conduct that the entire property, Woodside Senior Apartments, is engaging in. And as I've stated here, the demon in Unit 55 is the chief source, the chief means of amplified audible activity, harassment by an entity, terrorism by an entity, with the intent to obstruct justice, while ceaseless psychological torture by violent sex offenders who are monitoring my genitalia while surveillance is underway at a facilitating venue, not a private residence, where the sunrise, as a matter of documentation, is documented on video. The sun is idle from 7:18 a.m. until 6:27 p.m. And during daylight savings time, you're seeing the sunset as I'm showing you the evidence of what is the rapidly disappearing engineer light that's ricocheting off of objects to appear inside, while a demon above is amplifying. And you're looking at the same stationary impossible light that I showed you on both a cloudy day and that I also document in the morning. So let's just go over that really quickly while you're looking at, again, this is the environment. After 4 p.m. This morning, this is where I'm oh, and by the way, not just that, but the fact that the engineer light is also piercing through the peephole. Okay. This is the same. That's impossible light activity on its face. Sunlight does not ever do that. Okay. This is the environment where the demon possessed are maliciously engaging in surveillance and psychological torture. This whole property is going to be displaced. They're all going to be prosecuted, but the demons in units 33 through 64, they are all going to prison. The demons that live in this unit, number 51, who you see gang stalking Tracy Banks, maliciously targeting a blood relative with intent to murder and kidnap, aware of what's being documented, and light activity appears on her bedroom door as that demon closes the door after she knows that she's being documented as a domestic terrorist, one engaging in psychological torture, one engaging in criminal monitoring with the government who will not help her in federal court. The government's being prosecuted, and the government's being prosecuted as Tracy Banks represents the state vicariously to be prosecuted. And Tracy Banks is a third party acting with an entire population who shares no environment with regard to what's captured at the Starbucks in Pomona, California, at Temple and Pomona Boulevard, for example, where I'm showing you the stationary presence of the fake sun. Nothing in common with West Covina at 2100 Lark Ellen Avenue off of Amar Road, where I'm showing you the maintenance of the fake sun. That documentation that's sitting on the record, speaking to the demon, Brian Caldwell and Tabatabai, a documented gang stalker in the city of West Covina, and Paul Leon, a documented gang stalker in the city of West Covina, while the population, whom I've documented in Ontario and whom I've documented in West Covina, while impossible light ricocheted inside of my vehicle, which is never the case when you're driving underneath the sun, which would never remain stationary, by the way, because West Covina Police Department are gang stalking under that same sun at that same address at 9:24 in the morning. It's rising in alignment to me at 7:50 in the morning. Daylight savings time or not, you will never have the sun stationary in order for me to be at that same address and capture it like I did after 4 p.m. And I'm in Ontario, California after 4 p.m. And I'm showing you the perfect alignment with the sun inside of Tracy Banks's apartment, where a senior citizen is exhibiting impunity and disregard for the fact that she is going to a mental asylum for gang stalking with the city of Ontario, which is the state of California, in conformity to the state's P.O.C, which is inherently terrorizing on its face because the government is stalking with the population, but it's also domestic terrorism because the government is practicing witchcraft. The government is engaged in what is an ongoing program, ceaseless program of what is psychological torture, while demons are stalking, not only stalking physically in the path, which is gang stalking, but they're stalking in the path with engineered light. They're stalking in the path with engineered light while maintaining an ongoing course of audible activity, which is the demonic system of gang stalking, and it is ongoing terrorism by a population that's acting directly, the state of California, every city, every county, and acting vicariously, i.e. the people that stayed at Woodside Senior Apartments, those that are 55 and over, engaged in domestic terrorism, and they're all going to be federally prosecuted. The people that stayed in units 33 through 64 are going to federal prison, And these in units 55 and 51, they're going to mental asylums as they continue to demonstrate their need for systematic attention as a patient in an asylum versus remaining as a prisoner and amongst the general population in a federal prison. And that's just based on the very severely deranged conduct, the deranged behavior, and the mindset that necessarily is the case when you are gang stalking and seeking to psychologically torture and conspire to murder your own daughter or your own blood relative, like Tracy Banks is doing, in concert with people whom I don't know and you don't have to know in order to document gang stalking with the state. The demons at Woodside Senior Apartments, the demon in apartment number 55, the demon walking on the sidewalk underneath the fake sun that's aimed perfectly in alignment with me inside of this living room, where you're seeing this at what is 4:18 p.m. You're understanding what is malice of the people of the state. Impossible light activity is appearing outside. That's not sunlight. It's appearing in the shade. Neither is this a coincidence that the fake sun is remaining in perfect alignment with me. Neither is any person walking around in their apartment going to create earthquakes, amplified booming noises. And neither is a third party ignorant about that audible activity, about that light activity, about what you're doing, in other words, on your communication device. This is where this environment remains. And as you'll recall, not only is the engineer, this is where their shadows are appearing on the patio door. That's called impossible light activity, while a demon that lives in the unit is pacing in and out, and the demon that lives above the unit is the ongoing means of pacing, very psychotic behavior of one that has an appetite to murder and kidnap and psychologically torture another. And that's why the demon, again, in apartment 55, who's on video gang stalking under the fake sun with impossible light activity, on video gang stalking with the Ontario Police Department and the Ontario International Airport, a wealth of evidence against her in particular, and she represents what all of the people are doing, is on video. She's going to a mental asylum. This is the same environment, however. I just want you to recall what I documented at 1:42 p.m. where this light source is over the same roof building, the same roof, which is what I'm facing. Apartment number 42 is gang stalking, 46, 45, 41 gang stalking, while the entity has a fake sun where demons are pacing around and engineer light pierces through the peephole, which is what I captured at 1:42 in the afternoon. And again, this is the same environment where it's piercing through the same living room window at 4 in the evening, 4:18 in the same evening in the same apartment, piercing through the peephole at 4:18 in the apartment. This is somebody that's engaging in what is the demonic pattern of conduct of stalking with presence, not coincidentally right in front of the door as I open it. Not coincidentally right in front of the door at the environment where the fake sun remains stationary all day in alignment with me. An impossible light just manifests in the shade. An impossible light pierces through closed blinds, comes through the peephole, ricochets off of pictures to appear on bedroom doors in order to create methods of impossible light activity. This is understanding the system of gang stalking, which the City of Ontario, Paul Leon and Brian Calderon Tabatabai, the corrupt government leaders, to be unseated from their positions of mayor in the respective cities of West Covina and Ontario. Just giving a bigger picture regarding, at that macro level, understanding public corruption, and where domestic terrorism is the standard whereby you will be removed from the position that you are sitting in, while this criminal system that you are not reasonably ignorant about, nor will you remain while it's underway on your watch period. In the state of California, where this organized crime of murdering and kidnapping American citizens through corrupt police, sheriff's departments, and corrupt courts, and the population that's targeting American citizens is underway. This is not only the same building at 1:42 where you're looking at the same sun in perfect alignment with me after 4 p.m., but this is where I captured the same environment where you have all manner of impossible light while the demon is pacing it above in 55. These are the elements of monitoring: presence, audible activity, and light activity. All right, and it's all demonic, while a population of people that did not get up and have a conference about what they were going to do at the moment that they were going to do it, the ways that they act in sync in that demonic environment is because they're all demon possessed. And this is how you have somebody that is in your family gang stalking you in furtherance of the conspiracy to murder and kidnap you, and also seeking to profit from it. All right, that's how you have the peephole, that's impossible light that's appearing on the kitchen wall while you're gang stalking in the same apartment. This is at 11:40 in the morning, where again, 11:40, the peephole and the window are adjacent to each other. So you're talking about what is non-movement of the fake sun. This is the same living room. There is no reconciling this environment and speaking to what is malice. It's speaking to also impunity. While I'm capturing this video at 4:36 p.m., the demon above, which is the people of the state, continue to engage in criminal monitoring. It's federal stalking under Title 18, Section 2261A, subsections 1 and 2. And this is, remember, in furtherance to murder and kidnapping. and the entity continues to engage in that criminal conduct on behalf of the state. The City of Ontario's gang stalking through the elderly who are engaged in domestic terrorism at Woodside Senior Apartments, a corrupt company, Avanath Capital Management, that is being documented and whose pockets will be drained based on their criminal engagement in this system of federal group stalking and monitoring. I just want to be clear, on a cloudy day, which was this morning, where there is no quote-unquote sunlight, the same pattern of what is engineer light coming through the front door. This is at 8 a.m. today, December 26th, and this is the environment as I'm just showing you what is the P.O.C., where the demon again is targeting in Unit 55 the chief means, because these are two-story apartments, and so the chief means of stalking with noise is the demon that's right above where I'm at. This is where you see the situation of 45 and 41. This is the situation where I am in 51 and the demon is in 55. She is the chief means of audible activity creation, where demonic light is present for the group stalking purposes of the people who are acting as a population in concert with that corrupt government. And this is the impossible light activity that's present in the dark at 7:59 in the morning. This is what I documented. Again, while I'm documenting ongoing terrorism on a ceaseless basis at 7:05 in the morning, this is in the dark. This is the same exact light activity that you're seeing at 4 o'clock in the evening, while the entity is indeed engaged in that same exact pattern of conduct where the fake sun is in perfect alignment with through closed blinds inside of the depths of the apartment where you're looking at. Again, I just want you to see the fake sun that I captured this morning in alignment to me. This is 9 o'clock in the morning, 9:57 in the morning, and this is the same roof where it's remaining, and so is the methods of engineered light. It's still piercing through the peephole at 4 o'clock in the evening. This is through the peephole on the kitchen wall at 11:41 in the morning, where the chief means of amplified audible activity, psychological torture, conduct of the state with impunity is ongoing. This is the same impossible light framing the door at 1:19 in the afternoon, regardless of the position of the fake sun that's over the same building at 1:42 in the afternoon. This is, again, engineer light aiming through the peephole like I've already shown you. This is showing you what is the pattern of conduct which you are recognizing through the demonic environment and the demonic behaviors. The demonic behavior is also shown through the high level of malice. Gang stalking relatives is the outward demonstration of demon possession. A gang stalking neighborhood is the outward demonstration of demon possession, okay? Doing so with regard to the government, what the government is doing through the population is the outward demonstration of demon possession, in addition to the demonic environment where light manifests in the shade, where the sun remains stationary in alignment all day long in manners that are entirely irreconcilable. This is insurmountable evidence, direct evidence of federal group stalking and monitoring, by the way, where the entity is engaged in that targeting system. And Tracy Banks and the rest of the people of the state, which is the state of California, they do so with impunity because these demons know that they're being documented and with disregard for the consequences, which is federal prison and mental asylums. Remember, this is where the police department, where the airports, where the government itself, the City of Ontario, is sharing in the criminal engagement of elements. And they do so with impunity. And the elderly are going to be treated like every other monster that is engaging in terrorism, which is not accepted, not tolerated in the United States. They will be displaced necessarily while they're accepting state and federal benefits, and they're engaging in psychological torture, not having a job, unemployed, and gang stalking. It's literally incongruent. It's mutually exclusive. One is defying the other. It makes no sense, and it's something that should not coexist with regard to those who would like to be recipients of housing benefits. You can't pay your rent, but yet you're going to engage in domestic terrorism in this country. No, you will not. No longer. It will not go on anymore. But this is what the people of the state engage in while engaging in this pattern of conduct while they are acting in furtherance of the state's pattern of conduct. So I just wanted to show this. This is where the entity is indeed engaging in that P.O.C. This is the same third party that's maintaining a chief means of amplification. And as I document the entity, things such as the entity gang stalking by helicopter is a criminal means of retaliation. Things such as the entity using manifesting impossible light in a way is a communication of a threat to your life and safety as well. And this is what's going on while the entity is monitoring the evidence of violation of Title 18 and doing so with impunity. And remember, everything that the demon in 55 is doing, the people of the state are doing, and all of the demons and of the units of 144 units total at Woodside Senior Apartments, the corrupt company Avanath Capital Management is being documented, and they are liable civilly and criminally. They are profiting in violation of public policy while on their property and in concert with both their residents and their employees, where that company is itself is a gang stalker. by virtue of the state's P.O.C., which is already established, but you are also gang stalking, criminally facilitating it while you're profiting. It is absurd. You will be subject to civil prosecution, and those damages are designed to drain and devastate that company. The entity is acting in furtherance of the conspiracy to murder, while the demon possessed are gang stalking while being low-income recipients. They can't even pay their rent, and Abanath is participating in that program of low-income housing, which Abanath is going to be disqualified from, while it is prosecuted for gang stalking and facilitating it with the government, and all of the defendants, all 144 units are defendants, filled with all 144 occupants, are defendants, and they will be prosecuted, and they will also be removed from, based on the criminal record, that will sit on and be a disqualifier for receiving any housing benefits. And the demons in units 33 through 64 are going to prison. Okay, it's 4:42 p.m. This is P.O.C. as the entity is maintaining the specific environment as I continuously document it. And this video is 20 minutes long. And so as I captured the specific environment and I started this video where you're looking at this impossible light, it rapidly disappears. It's not a natural occurrence in the first place. Okay, and again, big picture at 4:18 p.m. There is no sun that would be idle in any position, piercing through, first of all, closed blinds, but also be in any location where it's at any other city and any other location in the city where you are able to look at it at what is 9 o'clock in the morning, where I'm showing you it's over the same roof, like I'm going to remind you about right here. This is the pattern of conduct. However, where the stationary presence of the light source and the distinct method of identifying group stalking, which is not, there's the fake sun, and then there's also the impossible light. The fake sun is a distinct method of identifying the pattern of conduct. The fake sun is not the explanation for the impossible light. Okay, they are two mutually exclusive. This has nothing to do with the position of that fake sun outside. This is the understanding, recognize the spiritual realm. This is demonic. All right. And so is the fake sun that's stationary. And this, which is present at 9 o'clock in the morning, is directly relevant to the ongoing psychological torture that the people of the state at Woodside Senior Apartments are practicing with impunity. And they do so that while they are also criminally monitoring the evidence. And that's why the elderly are going to be subject to prison and mental asylums, just like the demon in unit number 55, which is the people of the state. And they are one entity acting with impunity and with knowledge. And that body of evidence establishing that is already on the record. So you're witnessing severe mental illness while the demon in 55 continuously engages in amplified audible activity. And while the demon living in this apartment is now on her communication device, laughing at the top of her lungs, slapping her knee as though she's having the time of her life while she's being exposed and she's going to a mental asylum. This is exposing psychopaths, high level of malice, and the appetite, the behavioral pattern of serial killers. Okay, they are harmful they're dangerous to themselves, they're dangerous to children, they're dangerous to anyone that can't protect themselves or communicate the fact that they're subject to harm from a person such as the third party living in this unit who was gang stalking with the third party on her communication device. Okay, that's Title 18 surveillance, by the way. So she is still monitoring in concert with the demon in 55, still monitoring while the entire entity, not just the demons of 55 and 51 are being documented. The entire state's being documented. The malice with which the state of California engages in psychological torture and furtherance of the conspiracy to murder and kidnap is being documented. This is the impunity of the mayor. This is the impunity of the city. This is the impunity of the state. That also exhibits that when they're chasing you down in helicopters day and night, which is already on the record. It is currently 4:45 p.m. This is P.O.C.